So what slicingpie gives you is a perfectly fair model for dividing up equity based on the mathematics and the facts of what happened. No guesses, no crystal balls, no recommendations from people outside your company, based on actually what happens. We're rewarding the actual contributions people make. People are actually doing stuff. We can track it just like we can track anything else. We're tracking, most companies track payroll and expenses. It's not a complicated thing to track. We're rewarding those actual contributions. We're providing motivation. People know that if they keep working, they'll keep earning slices. Just like in real life, if you keep working, you'll keep earning your salary. If you stop working, you'll stop earning your salary. It's just logic. It accommodates team changes. I showed you how to add someone and subtract someone. It's flexible in the face of rapid change. At no point during this presentation did I have to stop and call my lawyer and be like, hey, we've got a new contract. We've got to renegotiate our split again and again and again. And it gets rid of the gators. No one's taking advantage of one another. Everyone's getting exactly what they deserve. So they don't have to worry about clamoring for equity or trying to negotiate equity. Slicingpie always works. It's not any way to scam. You can't scam it. You can't game it. It always works. Now there's 3 reasons why someone would not want to use slicingpie. The first reason is they don't get it. Maybe they've seen this webinar, maybe they've read the book, or it's been described to them as a friend, or they've read the quick guides, and it just hasn't clicked yet. Once this clicks, once you get the basic logic of betting and recovery, you'll see that this is the only way to do it. There's no other way to do it. It's the only logical. There aren't multiple versions of fairness. If you have a version of fairness and I have a version of fairness, by definition, one of us has to be wrong. There aren't multiple versions. It's either fair or it's not. Slicingpie logic uncovers the fair version of fairness. If you don't get it and it's not clicking for you, there's tons of resources out there, including talks like this. There are books. Slicingpie Handbook is one you want to read. Slicingpie is the older version. It's translated into lots of different languages. Will Work for Pie just came out just recently. There's a dozen different languages that Slicingpie is available in, and new ones are coming online all the time. There's software that helps you manage your split. It's not that complicated. People say, oh, this is too complicated. It's not complicated. Just track what you did. Just keep track of what you're doing. Now, a lot of startups don't track what they're doing because they don't see any reason to. But if you realize it's connected to your equity, then you'll track it. And one of the nice byproducts of slicingpie, byproducts of keeping track, is that you'll know what your cost structure is. So you'll know how much things will cost when they do start costing money. And that's an essential part of it. You can't say, oh, I'm profitable and I don't know my costs, because you have no idea. So by tracking what your contributions are and what they would have cost if you were spending money on them, you have a much better feel for what your cost structures are. Now, there is software available for a fee. There's also free downloadable spreadsheets, lots of free resources. Slicingpie is free for you to use. I don't want to make money off you if you can't afford it. Of course, I can sell books, I can sell software. Those are the things I make a living on, hopefully make a better living someday. But this is freely available. There's free guides online. You can download the free copies of the book. A sample, you can download free spreadsheets to do the tracking, free tools, webinars, seminars. It's out there for free, but I would certainly appreciate it if you bought the books or bought the software, but you certainly don't have to. The second reason people don't want to use slicingpie is they're not willing to learn it. They just think it's too complicated. I don't want to learn something new. It's tracking my time. I don't want to track my time. You don't have to track your time any more than you have to do it in a regular job. If you're not willing to learn it, if you find someone who's not willing to learn it, don't work with that person. If they're not willing to learn new skills, they're probably not going to be much use to your startup. You teach you old hat stuff. Work with people who are willing to accommodate fairness. If they're not willing to accommodate fairness, just give you my X%, don't work with them. And the last reason someone wouldn't want to use slicingpie is because he or she does get it. They do understand the fairness, but they don't want to be fair. They see an opportunity to take advantage of you. And unfortunately, there are lots of people out there who are willing to take advantage of hapless entrepreneurs. If your deal is good, you can find somebody else. If an investor wants to take advantage of you, don't take that money. You'll find somebody else. If you are desperate, then you'll have to deal with a bad deal, and it's too bad. But just remember that just because it's legal doesn't mean it's fair. Like I said at the beginning, I've been doing slicingpie for 10 years so far, and I haven't met a situation where it hasn't worked. Now, I've met situations where people haven't bothered to implement and they've come back and gotten burned. I've had situations where they haven't understood the logic and been surprised by things. But if you take the time to understand the logic and appreciate the logic, you will not get screwed. You will not get taken advantage of. You will get exactly what you deserve. Every other model for splitting equity is based on guesses about future events. If you find an online equity calculator, ask yourself, is this based on facts and things that are actually happening, or am I being asked to predict the future? Is it asking me to ask how much time I'm going to put in, full-time or part-time? you don't actually know what's going to happen. You're hopeful, you're eager, you're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, but the reality is you don't know. So rather than guessing using a crystal ball, just base it on the facts. Just determine what fair market values are, use your head, base it on the facts, and you'll get a fair split every time. Slicing pie is a fair model. It will work for you. Don't be afraid of learning something new. Learn the model, apply it, and get what you deserve, and have a fun startup, because fairness is fun. Thank you very much for watching. I hope to hear from you soon. Keep in touch.